Good morning, dears. Let's start our lesson. Today we are going to speak about the Renaissance in Spanish literature. Our plan the Renaissance period and Golden Age in Spanish literature, the Cervantes life and literature activity, and last plan Don Quixote by Cervantes. Extending from the early 16th century to the late 17th century, its literature characterized by patriotic, religious fervor, heightened realism, and new interest in the early epics, ballades, together with the somewhat less pronounced influences of humanism and Neoplatonism. Chivalric and pastoral novels replaced by the usually first-person narrative, relating the adventures of the Regio of Laureano and adventures the Spanish. He drives from the place to place and from one social to another his effort to survive. Spanish poetry during the period was initially marked by the adaptation of the Italian metres and word forms. The Golden Age also witnesses the creation of the Spanish national theatre by the extremely productive playwright Lope de Vega. Spanish literature blossomed as well, most famously demonstrated in the work of Miguel de Cervantes, the author of Don Quixote de la Mancha. A contemporary of the Cervantes, Lope de Vega, consolidated the essential genre and structure which could characterize the Spanish commercial drama, also known as the comedia, throughout the 17th century. Matriarchal literature in Spanish reached its summit with the works of the son Juan de Cruz. His first significant novel titled Salagati was published in 1585. The part 1 of the Don Quixote was published in 1605, part 2 in 1615. Other works include the 12 the Jumpers exemplary novels, a long poem, Journey to Parnassus, and Oco Comedias, 8 plays, 8, and the Travels of Persiles and Sigismund, and published in 1616. And also he's written over 20 plays, of which only 2 survive, based on his experience in captivity and also the Numancia. Don Quixote, it was published in 2 parts, in 1605 and 1615. A founding work, Western literature, it is often labeled the first modern novel, and many others consider it to be the best literature work ever written. The plot revolves around the adventure of the noble from the La Mancha named Alonso Don Quixote, nearly 50 years age, and he also read so many his mind and decided to become the knight-errant. He recurs a simple farmer, and he also often employs a unique earthly wit dealing with Don Quixote's monologue on knighthood. Don Quixote is the first part of the book, doesn't see the world for what is and prefers to imagine that he is living out a knightly story. Although the parts are now published as a single work, Don Quixote, and part 2, a sequel published 10 years after the original novels, which part 1 mostly facetious, the second half is more serious and philosophical about the theme of deception. And I have a question for you. What is the main idea of the Don Quixote? It is written by Miguel de Cervantes. Don Quixote is a novel about the man and his rescue trying to prove that chivalry is not dead and aspiring to be heroes. There are themes of the chivalry, romance, and sanity in his two-part novel. And next question, how would you describe the Don Quixote? Honestly, defining the proud and idealistic he wants to save the world, as intelligent as he's mad, Don Quixote and starts out the absurd and isolated figure ends up an knowable old man whose strays and wisdom have failed him. What happened at the end of the Don Quixote? In the end, the beaten and bitter Don Quixote wears all the chivalry through the flowers so servantly and dies from a fever. With his death, knight's error become extinct. Miguel de Cervantes was a Spanish writer, widely regarded as a great writer and one of the world's preeminent novelists. He is best known for his novel Don Quixote, a work often cited as both first modern novel and one of the pinnacles of literature. Much of his life was spent in his poverty, and also many of its details are unknown, and the bulk of his surviving work was produced in the 3 years praising his death. In 1569, Cervantes was forced to leave Spain and moved to Rome, where he worked in the household of the Cardinal. In 1570, he enlisted in Spanish infantry regiment and was badly wounded at the Battle of Lepanto in October 1571. He survived as a soldier under 1575 when he was captured by the Barbary pirates. After 5 years of captivity, he was ransomed and returned to Madrid. So, questions. What was the Don Quixote's donkey's name? Sancho Panza is a fictional character in the novel Don Quixote, written by Spanish author Don Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra in 1605. Is Don Quixote a comedy or tragedy? What do you think? Yes, just as Shakespeare wrote in no genre, Don Quixote is a tragedy as well as comedy. Why did Don Quixote fight the windmills? Don Quixote battles the windmills because he believes that they are various. He thinks that after defeating from the all 30 or 40 of them, he will be able to collect spoils and the glory as a knight. Thank you for your attention. Our lesson is over.